Blessed are the eyes that see what you see. For I tell you, many kings and prophets have desired to see what you see, and have not seen it. To hear what you hear, and have not heard it. I thank you, Father, for hiding these things from the learned and the wise, and revealing them to the innocent and the simple.
This time-lapse shows the storm moving into Charlotte, North Carolina. Strong winds throwing trees into homes, cars, and power lines. The storm killed 4 in Virginia and took out power to 160,000 people in 4 states. It was a beautiful, windy morning after in Virginia, but a state of emergency declared by the governor remained in effect after twisters shredded and tossed homes and left thousands without power. In the small town of Waverly, southeast of Richmond, complete and utter devastation. 3 dead, including a child.
Only thing we heard is a 2-year-old baby was found in the woods.
That baby and 2 men, all related, were pronounced dead.
This is devastating.
Several buildings wiped out.
What's there now is nothing there now but boards that's been destroyed.
Across several states, more than 30 tornadoes in the last day alone. First tearing across Louisiana and destroying this RV park.
God, let us be okay. Let us get through this.
Torrential rains flooded the mid-Atlantic to the northeast. Downpours led to flash floods, washing away cars and creating a mess for the D.C. area.
I thinking like, okay, I will drop, I will be die. I just call God help me. I pray.
In New York, heavy winds overturned this truck on the George Washington Bridge. And on the backside of this massive storm, blizzard conditions across the Midwest.
If you don't need to make the trip, don't make the trip today.
In parts of Illinois and Indiana, near whiteout conditions, making travel extra difficult.
Tonight, a partial ceasefire is supposed to take effect in Syria. If it does, it would be the first in the 5-year-old civil war there, but no one's holding out hope. We do know the guns will be quiet in one town south of Damascus because there's no one left to kill.
The drive into Sheikh Meskin is non-stop wreckage. And when you stop, there's silence. Before the war, 30,000 people lived here. Now, no one is left. Wave after wave of airstrikes starting in December, followed by a Syrian army ground offensive, forced the rebels to retreat. Today, there are a few soldiers left guarding the ruins as the battle has moved on.
The 2 friends who were killed,
Jafar Olayan is an infantry soldier.
how fierce was the fighting?
I can't even describe it, he says. The rebels had the advantage because they knew the terrain.
You must be tired, though.
Oh yes, he says, we are so tired. Victory has brought a lull for these men and some time to regroup. But what if their lull was replaced by a genuine truce?
Put your hand up if you think it has a good chance.
Yeah? Yeah, they are ready for this peace. They are
ready for the peace.
But one soldier adds, if we see ISIS or al-Nusra, we will kill them all. Like his country, Syria, hoping for peace, but braced for a lot more war.
The Democratic People's Republic of Korea says it has test-fired a newly developed anti-tank guided missile. The official KCNA news agency reports the top leader Kim Jong-un supervised the test and was satisfied with the results.
Yemeni security officials said Saudi-led strikes hit a popular market in Nikham district northeast of the capital. More than 6,000 people have already died in the conflicts in Yemen, which began after the Houthis advanced on the southern port city of Aden. Hundreds of thousands have been displaced. Saudi Arabia sees the Houthis as a proxy for Iran, its main regional adversary. The latest incident came a day after aid and rights groups urged Western countries to stop selling arms to Saudi Arabia.
Now to the European refugee crisis. Refugees stranded at the Greece-Macedonian border staged a protest calling on authorities there to let them travel through to the rest of Europe. Thousands became stuck in Greece after nations along the Balkan migration route took unilateral action on Friday to shut down their borders, and they allowed only a small number of refugees in. EU Foreign Affairs Minister Federica Mogherini said Friday that unilateral decisions to deal with the migrant influx couldn't be implemented selectively by certain countries. The Greek government is blaming Austria for worsening the crisis by toughening its border controls. They say this created a domino effect as Balkan countries further south along the migration route followed in Vienna's footsteps.
At least 2 people were killed and several wounded when a car bomb exploded at a town in the Syrian province of Hama on Saturday. The explosion at the entrance to Salamiyah, east of Hama city, occurred just hours after a cessation of hostilities came into effect in Syria as part of a U.S. and Russian plan. The Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said the car bomb attack is not a breach of the truce because it occurred in an area where the ceasefire does not apply.
A spokesman for the Russian Defense Ministry, Sergei Rudskoy, says Russia has not only stopped hitting targets linked to those signed up to the ceasefire deal, but has also halted all airstrikes to prevent accidents and confusion. The Islamic State and the Al-Nusra Front, groups deemed to be terror organizations by the United Nations, are not part of the deal, and Russia says it will continue the fight against them in the future. Moscow says it has also sent the United States a clear outline of the groups who've signed up to this cessation of hostilities agreement, with the details of geographical areas which shouldn't be bombed included in that communication. Russia says there is no plan B to this ceasefire and that all sides must commit to ensure its success. Despite the ceasefire, major political divisions remain in Syria, however, with the US continuing to support the Syrian opposition and Russia insisting on the legitimacy of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad.
Turning overseas, the death toll is climbing from those back-to-back market bombings unleashed by the Islamic State in Iraq Sunday. The Baghdad bombing in the Shiite district of Sadr City have now killed at least 73 people. The initial explosions were followed by a suicide bomb in the crowd that gathered at the site. Several of the victims who were critically wounded died overnight. More than 100 people are still being treated in the hospital, and at least 5 people are still missing.
Violence exploded late Saturday night after a Salt Lake City police officer shot a 17-year-old black teenager in the chest and stomach. His friend Salim Muhammad saw the shooting.
When the cops came, they ran up to him, pulled their guns out, and told him to stop, drop it one time. And as he was turning around, they shot him. I seen it shoot his chest and his stomach.
Suspect is still breathing. Expedite medical. Police responded to a call to break up a fight outside this homeless shelter. Police say they opened fire after the teenager and refused to drop the weapon. KUTV's Jeremy Harris was one of the first reporters on the scene.
The witnesses were very worked up. They were very angry. You could tell there was a lot of passion. So many people saw this. At any given time, there are at least 50, if not 100 or more people that are standing outside of the homeless shelter.
As the crowds grew angry, protesters launched rocks and bottles at about 100 police.
Absolutely and without question, the witnesses say this was about race. In fact, several people were walking by chanting Black Lives Matter.
All Salt Lake City officers wear body cameras. Police told me they will release the video of the shooting as soon as possible. Jeff, meantime, the teenager is in critical condition and 2 officers are on routine paid administrative leave.
Our top story for this half hour, Russia says the ceasefire in Syria has been breached 9 times in the 24-hour period. However, the head of Russia's coordination center in Syria, Sergei Korolenko, said the truce is still holding and is being implemented. Anti-Syria groups also claim the government forces breached the ceasefire over a dozen times. Earlier, Turkish troops fired artillery shells into the Syrian cities of Tal Abyad and Oslu, where Kurdish fighters are resisting Takfiri terrorists. The attacks come just a day after an agreement on the cessation of hostilities took effect.